Всем привет! Опять у меня случились какие-то неполадки с интернетом. Так уж, пойдемте тогда в игру. Я шел по желтой тропе и пошел куда-то не в ту сторону. Теперь я здесь. Вот это да. Ладно, начинаем заново. Ага, классно.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Я с ведром дальше пойду.
Oh, good
Отлично,
Stanley.
Стэн.
I'm
Я рад,
glad
что
you
ты
found your
добрался
way
сюда.
here. I knew you'd
Я
find
знаю,
this
что ты
place
найдешь это
eventually.
место.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Ладно, давай.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Музыкой. Вот она. Эх ты, музыка. Я такие люблю.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Кажется, есть та самая.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
Сюда пройти.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Нет, я не готов.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley.
Моё ведро не дам.
What they want. Hurry and...
О. Всё, вся галактика.
My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you, all of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
А я думал, я твой лучший друг. В смысле? Да. Вот такие дела, народ. Ой, друзья, The Stanley Parable 2. Кто мог представить, что это такая легендарная игра сможет выйти? Я так долго ждал, это просто пипец. Ладно. Продолжаем.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Эх, жалко. Можно? О! Подожди. Сейчас найдем. Ладно. Идем дальше. Нету.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Начальник подождет. Пошли. Ой, кажется, давно этот звук я не слышал тоже. Год я не играл в Stanley Parable. Долго мы как-то едем. Да. Ладно.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Ладно, поедем дальше. Мы поедем и помчимся на аллее, та-та-та-та-та. Пошли.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Мне плевать, что там думает Стэн, да, меня.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Нам не надо ничего исправлять.
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Нам пофигу. Идем.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Выбираться надо. Ладно, присядем.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Ведро спасло мою жизнь. Я так и знал.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket.
Подожди, ведро отдало жизнь за счет... понятно. Ведро отдало свою жизнь, чтобы мы смогли выжить. О, нет. Приглашаем вас на большую выставку. Вы подошли к порогу наставшего здания, к самому ведру. Человеческий разум занимает всего лишь пустой сосуд, но с помощью таких средств, как на это высот разум, например, смысл и познание, знаете, в ведре, и поэтому, смотрите, единственное предложение истина в мире. Либо собой внешний мир, что узнать здесь, открытый ли разум тому, что может показаться сложным или далее невыносимым. Поменяете ли свою жизнь или жизнь своих близких после этого выставки? Или вернетесь и будете жить, как прежде, в невежестве и в темноте? Пойдемте. Прикольно.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Ведер сразу большего количества не удалось снять. Никому нескольких недель публиковали портрет для речи, настолько видели бы его радость от снимка с таким количеством ведер. Ну да. Охренеть, красота, да? Как же они тут обновили? Офигеть. Ведро с 2 ручками. Ведро представляется с 2 ручками сразу. В реальной жизни такой дизайн ни разу не использовался. Его признали слишком опасным. Безсосудные восстановки каждый год в нескольких странах казнят тех, кто пытается его реализовать. Понимаете, если ведро появится с 2 ручками, весь мир уничтожится, поймите это. И золотое ведро. А нет, это древнее ведро. Адское ведро. Адская репродукция адского ведра, которая так ценилась в середине века, что целые народы шли за него на войну. Люди гибли. Наверное, 1001 факт остается непрерывным, который не... Короче, это ведро из Скайрима, все. Все ясно и понятно. Знаешь, что под ноги летаешь, блин, в небеса. Офигеть, ведро с краном! Ведро антистресс. Типа сюда наливаете воду, из этого ведра, хоп, спускаете воду. Отсутствует. Комментарий отсутствует. Конечно, комментарий отсутствует. Пипец, изобретение века, честное слово. Вау! Это история, как древние люди изобрели ведро! Охренеть! Офигеть, пещерный рисунок. Охренеть. Ну тут я уже устал читать. Давайте пойдемте дальше.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Офигеть. Видите, это прекрасное. Висящее ведро. Экспотен. Стилизирует неизбежную связь ведра и человечества. Мы можем думать, что отлично понимаем. Ведро всегда найдется, что мы еще не осознали. И это всегда к лучшему. Падаем вниз. Нет. Ой. Это за то, что я взял ведро.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let's stand down. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Охренеть, я умер с ведром. Пипец, вот эта концовка. В итоге я все равно умер. Ой. Да, я умер. Это пипец, это же я знаю, что это еще не конец. Столько вообще в голове у меня. Просто пипец. За Stanley Parable 2. Это просто, я не знаю, это что-то с чем-то. Это легендарно.